Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this latest edition of Tales from Outer Space, where I take stories from across the internet and read them for your entertainment. This particular story is called Bumps in the Night, written by Majestic Teach 6677. As a freighter captain, I have only a few pleasures in life. The pay is good, but the hours are long, and unexpected complications can make the job stressful and challenging. As a result, sleeping is one of the things I thoroughly enjoy. Why? Because it's supposed to be a peaceful time when nobody will pester me with problems. Unfortunately, life is a cruel nestmate and likes to remind me of a different concept from time to time. The best part of waking up is screaming, "What the fuck?" That might have been running through my mind as I bolted upright in bed and yelled out those very words. I can't be sure, as the awakening was both rude and unexpected. Something had scampered across me while I was sleeping, and my mind raced as I tried to make sense of what just happened. I was in deep space. I've heard that humans have animals that sometimes get loose and cause problems, but our new human crew member didn't have any pets. Maybe a pulka rat? But how the hell did one get into deep space and survive? Ship's a pretty solid anti-pest detection system, so you can't bring a stray burrowing flea along without it being detected. At least, that's how things are supposed to work. I was pretty sure this vessel was up to date and had pest control systems, but my tired brains couldn't remember. I'd only recently taken command of the ship. In the panic of the moment, my mind flashed to the classic story our new human told us at dinner last night. Gulliver's Travels, I think. Something about a human being tied to the ground by dozens of tiny little creatures. But I didn't spot any angry little sapiens, nor did I see any footprints on my bedding. And what twisted mind thought up such a nightmare? It's a human story, so likely best not to ask. Thoroughly spooked, I got out of bed and looked around my quarters, and then poked my head out the door to look down the hallway. "Perhaps it was a dream," I muttered under my breath. "Nothing here." Satisfied that nothing was wrong, I chalked it up just as my imagination, or a nightmare caused by a human's tale. I went back to bed and woke up to my alarm at the usual time. Before leaving my quarters, I did one last check to be sure I hadn't missed anything when I was woken up. Finding nothing, I checked my schedule for the day before I stuffed my data state into the holder on my belt. The walk up to the bridge was uneventful, like the scene I discovered on the command deck when the doors opened. "Did any of you notice anything strange last night? I swear I heard something moving in my quarters," Goopel said while waving a claw nervously. "It woke me up, but when I looked around, I didn't see anything. I barely slept the rest of the evening, as it triggered my fear instincts." "I was in my third sleep when something stepped on a tentacle and woke me up," Heijo responded quickly. "There was nothing in visual range when I looked. I thought I imagined it and just went back to resting. I was doubting my sanity, but your experiences suggest what I saw was real," Rochelle said with a clear concern. "I woke up suddenly last night after hearing a clank, and I saw something floating mid-air above me. I couldn't see anything clearly as the lights were dimmed, but by the time I reached the luminance controls, there was nothing there." "You sapiens are freaking me out," Sequat chimed in as her eye stalks blinked nervously. "I also was awoken by something scampering, but I couldn't see anything. Then I turned the lights on. I also thought my imagination had just run wild, but with four of us having such an experience—" "Captain Kizik, we all—" Ritual started when their primary eye stalks noticed me. "I heard as I entered," I broke in quickly. "And I highly doubt this is a shared delusion. Has anyone checked pest monitoring system?" "I'm looking at it now," Google called out while tapping a claw on the closest control screen. "No alerts and system diagnostic reports, all sensors functional and operating on high detection mode." "Most likely we have some sort of pest on board and our systems aren't functioning properly to catch it," I said calmly. "Worst case, we've discovered something that can evade pest monitors. That's rare, but it wouldn't be the first time." I spoke with far more confidence than I truly felt. A broken pest system was bad enough, but if we found something that could avoid monitoring systems, that was a significant threat and would need to be reported to galactic authorities. I decided not to mention that pests not detected by monitoring systems tend to be dangerous, like the Bekvarian flesh weevils. "Engineer Ashwin," I said into the ship's communications, "please report to the command deck. We may have a system problem." "On my way," was the quick and cheery response from our new human engineer. Barely 2 time units later, Ashwin opened the door and jogged over to me. "What seems to be the issue?" he asked with a pleasant smile. "Multiple crew members were disturbed last night in their sleep," I explained. "It appears we may have picked up some sort of pest, and the control system isn't detecting anything." Gotcha. I'll run a deep dive and see if there are any obvious problems, Ashwin said professionally. He then gave me a firm nod and moved over to one of the control consoles. Well, from what I can tell, the monitoring system is working perfectly. Your last engineer did a great job calibrating the sensors, he said after a short while as everyone in the room watched him nervously. Let me check something else. Rochelle alternated their primary eye stalks between me and Ashwin as we waited for the next update. Oh! Ashwin suddenly called out. He then gave a short laugh and shook his head. Ha ha! No worries, this should be an easy fix. Everybody looked at the human with confusion and concern. What does that mean? What's wrong? I asked in response to his cryptic non-explanation. I didn't realize you guys all slept like rocks, Ashwin responded quickly. Humans shift and snore, so it's easy to tell we aren't dead. The updated cleaning bots got confused and thought that you all died and needed to be cleaned up. They left immediately after realizing their mistake. I'll update the subreddit to use thermals or something else to be sure that you're alive. All visual receptors in the room locked onto the oblivious Ashwin, who seemed to have brought up a programming page on the control console. However, this does point to another flaw in my programming, he went on. In the unfortunate case someone does pass away, it wouldn't be good to have a bots clean up anything. I'll set them to send an alert to the command and medical. It might just be a little culturally insensitive. We just got to pull the body out of the trash recycler. Updated bots? How in the stars? I stammered in confusion. That doesn't explain anything. The cleaning bots, we have wheels and can't get up on the bed. Our human just sat there looking guilty, suddenly realizing that he was the center of attention. What else did you do? I asked quietly. Spiders are our friends, and they clean up a lot of pests on Earth, so I thought it would be a good to give the cleaning bots 8 legs, Ashwin said sheepishly, while scratching the back of his head. He then became very excited and animated. Now they can climb up and reach more surfaces to clean, much more useful and efficient. But how does that explain that Ritual saw something hanging from the ceiling? I demanded, since his explanation still left me much to be desired. Oh, Ashwin said with a nervous laugh. That. Yes, I said firmly. That. Ashwin looked up at the ceiling for a long moment before speaking again. You see, spiders on Earth can make a sticky silk out of their butts to make webs or to safely drop from heights, he explained, while still refusing to look me in the eye stalks. So, I gave the bots mini winches with maglocks on their ears. Now they can latch onto surfaces like spiders, and they can also have mini mag boots so that they can walk up walls and clean the ceilings. There was a long pause as I considered what he said. Rachel glowered at the human. Maybe I should add rubberized feet, then they won't make any annoying sounds as they move, Ashwin mumbled while still avoiding everyone's gaze. And now it all made sense. I was warned that human engineers like to come up with unique solutions, and the so-called improvements. I didn't think that was what they meant. Why can't you humans just leave things be? I grumbled at Ashwin. They worked well enough before. But spider bots are better, he responded brightly. End of story. I'd greatly like to thank our Tier 5 channel members, Caspar Arnholt, John Creighton, Manatharia, 050, Dragzoon WRE, and Elijah Silvercross. Thank you very much.